He's like a one-in-a-lifetime, generation type player. So when you get a certain pack, does that mean that you can trade for a certain player of equal value? Signs a 4-year, $64 million extension. Dang, that's a lot of money. So after doing my American football biggest hits ever, I got a lot of comments talk about this person called Jordan Mailata. And so I've heard of him. I do not know his story. All I know about him is that he played rugby league and then got scouted to go play over in American football, and apparently is doing really well. So today I thought it'd be real cool if we took a look at the story of Jordan Mailata. So let's dive straight into it. Bankstown kid.
I grew up in Bankstown, Australia.
I think that's in Sydney.
I'm from a family of 7, 5 kids, 1 girl, 4 boys. My dad, he's from Samoa, so is my mum.
They migrated to Australia because they wanted their kids to have more than what they had.
Growing up with my siblings, kind of just did everything, played basically anything that we could get our hands on, any sport.
He's always been a special kid. He's very stubborn when he wants to be, but at the same time, he's got a big heart.
We didn't have a fancy lifestyle, but we had a good one.
I was the first of my siblings to ask my dad to play club rugby. My dad looked at me and he was like, "Don't mess this up." I was like, okay, this is a tremendous amount of pressure for an 11-year-old,
My dad saw footy as a way out. Me and my brothers, we were gifted in rugby league, and there were pathways for some of us.
Let me just pause it right there. Here in New Zealand, Australia, there are 2 games of rugby. One's called Rugby, which is the All Blacks, and the other game is called Rugby League. A second thing I want to point out is, just when I look at his family, big family, grew up with 5 siblings. I grew up with 6. So Polynesian culture, here in New Zealand, you have Māoris, the indigenous people of New Zealand. You have a lot of Tongans, you have a lot of Samoans that come over to New Zealand to migrate, and a lot of them go to Australia also. And so there's a lot of similarities in cultures. So me, I'm Māori, a lot of Māori blood in me. I also have European blood. And so when I look at their house, when I look at 5 kids, big family, grow up playing, like it reminds me of my life.
At the age of 20, I joined club rugby, had a $5 RSL with my 2 brothers and my best friend. I ended up having a pretty decent year, turned some heads. The South Sydney Rabbitohs.
He's huge.
They basically offered me a walk-on contract. Kind of just took off from there.
His size and strength, he would break the game open. You got him in situations where he could be on a one-on-one with someone. He was very hard to stop.
There's not one game that he played for the Rabbitohs where he didn't look in the stands and didn't see his family.
By the end of the season, I was able to put a highlight tape together, and no club was kind of giving me a chance. I had a chip on my shoulder. Agents had mentioned something about the NFL, about this program that they knew about called the,
You know what's crazy? When I look at those highlights, his size, I don't know how tall he is, but he is huge. I don't know how NRL teams were not looking into him. Another thing I must mention is around here, I grew up obviously playing rugby league, and so all the kids around my age, your main focus in life is to try and make NRL. If you can make NRL, you've hit the peak. But I'm very surprised how he didn't get a look in, because he was good. He was bumping people off, hard to stop him.
NFL International Player Pathway Program.
Player Pathway Program.
We were sitting in a parking lot waiting to work someone else out, and I got a text just of a video clip of a guy playing rugby. We set up a chance to meet in LA. We worked him out there and he had a great workout. From there, kind of the next thing was to get him on the program, and that's when we took him to IMG in Bradenton.
Here we are, big Jordan Mailata.
By January 14th, I was on the way to IMG Academy, Florida, to participate in the NFL IPP.
Let's go, homies. What's good? We're about to leave Sydney, Australia, go to Tampa Bay, Florida. So, see you guys soon.
I was pissed. He was 20. We don't have family where he was going. He never held an American football.
I basically said to him, you know, you can't fail. You're going, go make it.
A day in the life of the guy on the International Player Pathway program, it's hard.
Adam held us to the highest of standards. From the very start, they're very adamant on routine, on the details. We used to simulate the days of an NFL schedule.
The IPP program is a program that was set up to give an opportunity for people around the world to get a pathway into the NFL.
I wanted to prove to Americans that not only Americans can play in the NFL.
At the time, Howie.
That is so cool, an international players pathway. Do they only do it for NFL, or do they have other pathways for other sports in America? I don't know.
He had asked me if I would go down to Bradenton to evaluate and work out an offensive line prospect. And I had told him that I had this trip planned, and I really was not interested in going to Bradenton. I canceled that trip.
Coach Stout, from the first day that I met him, I said, holy cow, this guy is bloody hardcore. He took me out to the classroom, told me about protections, about run schemes, and after my pro day, he was impressed.
If this guy was in college football today, he would be a first or second round draft pick. It's like Christmas when you're provided a good player and doesn't have any bad habits.
Wait, he talked about pick, so a draft pick. I'm guessing that's where teams are allowed to pick a certain player to be in their team. The fact that I think he was an offensive line coach, said that if he was in college football, he would be a first or second round pick. Yet in rugby league, he was making a videotape of his highlights and no one wanted a bar of him. How does that make any sense?
A week later, I was invited to the draft. I'll never forget the day I got drafted.
NFL draft.
We were into the third day, and we didn't have a lot of picks in that draft. There's certain players that you couldn't live with yourself if you saw them have success somewhere else.
So he's talking about picks. Explain to me what picks is. So does every single pro team get a certain amount of picks for that draft? How exactly does that work? Because he said we didn't have that many picks left.
It would have haunted all of us if we didn't get Jordan.
It just so happens that we were in this very room with Mr. Laurie and Howie in 7th round, and they called me in and once again asked me some questions. And Howie, doing what he does the best, moved up in front of Pittsburgh.
I remember turning to Coach Peterson and Mr. Lurie and saying, like, I'm gonna go get this guy.
Hello, Jordan speaking.
Jordan.
Howie, how's it going?
Doing great, man. We just traded up to get you in the 7th round. We're picking you right now. You're an Eagle, bro.
Thanks, Howie.
We get a phone call from Jordan, and he tells us that he's about to walk on stage.
Come here, man. Yes, Jordan.
Good on you, bro.
And I heard them call his name as the 233rd pick. And I remember sitting, bawling my eyes out.
With the 233rd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jordan Mailata, tackle, Sydney, Australia.
The Eagles just traded up to take a South Sydney Rabbitoh.
Hometown, Bankstown, Sydney, Australia. You know, Bankstown, 2200.
I love that. That actually made me quite emotional, just seeing him get the phone call and then that manager saying, "You're gonna be an Eagle, bro. You're gonna be an Eagle," and just him just bawling his eyes out. Man, that is so emotional. So when you get a certain pick, does that mean that you can trade for a certain player of equal value? How does a trading system work?
This boy did not touch a pigskin until he went over there. He had never played a snap of American football his entire life.
And they put me on the phone with him. I said, "Jordan, remember this. You have to trust me as your coach."
Not having any experience in an NFL locker room, I still had to earn that sense of belonging. You know, I wanted people to respect me.
He never had to use his hands before, as an offensive lineman has to. Every single day before we got started, we would work with his hands. And we did this religiously. The technique, the footwork, the set lines, the departure angles, the constant coaching that was going on accelerated his learning curve.
I was playing catch-up, trying to learn the technique, watching film. I didn't want to waste that opportunity. You know, I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to let down my family. There were a couple times early on in 2019 when I thought about, you know, is this what I really want to do? And just thinking about home, I was injured, I was on IR.
I reminded everybody, and I know this was going to take time, and I told him many, many times, there's gonna come a point in time, you're gonna feel like it's all starting to come together for you.
Week 1, 2020 season, Jack Driscoll goes in, he starts the game, he's having a heck of a game. He started cramping.
Well, now this just happened.
He starts jogging off to the sideline. I'm like, well, who's up next? And everybody's looking at me. I'm like, oh, it's me.
Well, then now Jordan Mailata, the 7th round draft pick of 2018, the rugby player, never played a down of football. Well, guess what? He's in there at right tackle right now.
I snapped the ball and going against Ryan Kerrigan. Oh, it was terrifying. I just knew that if my time ever came, I was going to make the most of it. 2020 season comes around and finally get my chance.
Jordan Mailata just wipes people out.
He's just bending people. It's just a tsunami of power.
He clears space.
Last year, it started to click. I think that's when he developed the confidence that, you know, I can be really good at this.
Seeing on the back of his shoulders my latte, I'm so incredibly proud.
Former rugby star Jordan Mailata probably going to stick with football now after signing a 4-year, $64 million extension.
Signs a 4-year, $64 million extension. So 64 million USD is roughly around $110 million NZD. So he makes $25 million a year in New Zealand dollars. Dang, that's a lot of money. And just to give you a little bit of comparison, our top players in rugby league, you're probably looking at $1.4, $1.5 million a year. Wow, what a story. What a story.
With the Eagles.
I just remember talking to my agent. He explained to me that, you know, we had agreed to a 4-year, $64 million deal, and I couldn't believe it. And I was re-signing with the Eagles to be their left tackle.
It doesn't sound real. I tried to put into words how I felt, and like, how do you put into words that kind of feeling where you're speaking to your younger sibling, knowing that they've changed the course of every generation to follow and changed the Mailata generation forever. That's what Jordan's done. When you think of the greater impact that he's had on the Polynesian community, kids from Sydney, like kids from Bankstown, who are scared to try something new.
I think what I'm most proud of with Jordan, he still remains the same person as he left.
That's cool.
He's loyal. He's a fierce protector. He's the best of us.
They're representing our family name, the Mailata. That's the correct way to say it, guys. Mailata. On the back of the jersey for the world to see.
I love what his sister said. His parents moved from Samoa to give their kids a better opportunity, and he's cracked NFL. $64 million. But I love that as the key part. Beyond that, he's made it possible for Polynesian kids, giving them a sense of, well, I can do it too. If Jordan Mailata can do it, I can do it too.